What is going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome to episode 38. This will be the official King of the Hammers 2020 recap. The full solo recap. We did have a recap back in episode 35 with Foss and KD, but this one I'm kind of going to go through and pick out my own personal highlights of that trip. So, if it sounds a little bit different, I am recording in my dining room. The basement was extremely noisy. I can't get the damn HVAC to turn off, so I'm going to try and mess with the low limiter and the I don't know. There's a whole bunch of audio shit. I don't even know how to work on this thing. But this will be the 2020 King of the Hammers recap as promised. So let me bust out my notes and we can get started. So, as you guys know, I was traveling with Foss and KD. They live fairly close to me, so we decided to travel together. The flight out there was fine, nothing really out of the ordinary. I've made that flight, I was trying to count, probably about 15 times. 10 to 15 times I've made that a cross-country flight. It is not fun, but it sucks way more driving. Like, way more driving. But anyway, once we touched down in LAX, we got the rental vehicle, which was the Toyota Tacoma 2019, a TRD model. Oh my God, I am in fucking love with that truck. As much as a Jeep guy as I am, I was absolutely in love with that truck. If I was not poor as shit, I would 100% buy one. So it took us 5 hours from LAX to the lake bed, and it normally takes three and change, 3-4, but it took 5, so we were pretty fucking beat up after that. We did, however, stop for In-N-Out, which made me super happy, because every time I go to California, I have to stop and get In-N-Out. I don't care what you say, I love that shit, and it makes me happy. I don't know if the nostalgia tastes better than the actual burger, but I don't know. I enjoy it. So the first few nights, let me back up a little bit. So I just have a bunch of notes here. I'm kind of going off the cuff. I decided that I wanted to record this podcast probably about 30 minutes ago. I have some time between when I have to drop the boys off and when I have to be at my next appointment, which is not for a while, so I'm all yours. So Philip, Casper, and I were sharing an Airbnb, but I made my plans to shoot the UTV race, which he was not shooting. So I got in Friday. Yeah, I got in the 31st, but he wasn't coming to check into the Airbnb until the 3rd or the 4th, I think. So I was like, yeah, I can sleep in the truck for a couple days, no problem. In my head, a couple days was no issue. In reality, 4 days, it was fucking tough, man. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. But thankfully, the seats in that truck recline almost completely flat, which was awesome. The first night, I did a video on. You guys can go on YouTube and check that out. I drove around, went to back door, watched some dudes mess around there. I forget how long I was up for, like how many hours I was awake, but it was a lot, and I finally found a place in the middle of the desert to sleep and just pulled over and shut the truck off and then realized it was fucking freezing, so then I fell asleep with the truck on, which that heater fucking cranks. But that's what I ended up doing for the first couple days. The first 2 or 3 nights I camped. I slept in the truck just by myself in the middle of the desert, which was kind of weird feeling. I don't know. It was relaxing, but at the same point, it was fucking weird. But then Erin Hicks from Jeeps of SoCal came, and she got a nice, dope camping spot. So the first night she came, I forgot what it was. It was one of the nights that wasn't windy. She had a fire going. She brought firewood. I had my beer, and we just sat there at that fire for, I don't know, a fucking while, and just nobody said shit. We just looked at the fire and just drank our beer and had a great fucking time. And it was amazing just to like sit there and relax and enjoy Johnson Valley for what it is, just the peace and the quiet. Even though it was ramping up to like the heyday of Hammers Week, there were still people there, obviously. The UTV race was the next day, or qualifying, I can't remember. All those days are running together. But it was just nice to like sit. That was pretty much the only night that I got to chill out and relax. So thank you, Aaron, for letting me park in your camping spot. Appreciate it. Then I had to wake up super balls ass early. And I may have done a little bit of a burnout leaving her campground. I don't remember. I don't think I woke her up. I don't know. I'll have to ask her. I forgot. But we had to. What's next here? Yeah, so that morning I shot qualifying for UTV. Meeting. Oops, I went too far too fast. Oopsies. I got to meet the PRP guys. That was super dope. Kyle and Justin. I got to meet them the first night along with some of their big wigs, their big bosses. Got to help them load up a trailer and truck, or empty it out, I should say, with a bunch of boxes. And then they left me. Like, they straight up left me. That was originally part of the plan, though. They just came to set up their huge tent that they had. And then they left because they had a bunch of stuff to do over that weekend. And then they came back for, like, the cusp of Hammers Week, which was awesome. So for the UTV race, I decided that I wanted to go to Backdoor because I hadn't shot that the year prior, which turned out to be an incredible fucking spot for multiple reasons that I'm about to go into. So there were so many rollovers at Backdoor for the UTV race. It was absolutely incredible. I don't know if you've been there or if you've seen Backdoor. It was fucking dug out this year. It was crazy. And you know, the short wheelbase vehicles, that's not their strong suit. Dropping down, I don't know, what was that, 8-foot ledge? Something ridiculous. But there were so many well, it's not countless. I could count them. I don't remember how many rollovers there were. There were a lot of them, like a lot. At one point, I just set my second camera to record and just left it alone. But that was pretty fucking awesome. And I'm actually gonna try and keep this podcast short for you guys, because sometimes I drone on a little bit too much. But anyway, at Backdoor, I got to see Larry Chen, which, if you don't know, he is a star, A-list celebrity of automotive photography. Go check him out, Larry Chen. I saw him at Backdoor, and I was like, oh, that's Larry fucking Chen, and I was fucking geeking out, but I didn't say anything. He was pretty far away. He was on the other side of the canyon at Backdoor. But then I went back to the media tent after the race, and guess who walked in, like, almost right behind me and was putting his camera gear away? Larry fucking Chen. So I had to walk up. I was like, don't do it, Angel. Don't do it. Don't do it. Sure enough, I walk up and like, hey, man, you're like a really big inspiration of why I'm here. Because someone did like a vlog style video of him. I forget what year it was shooting, but it like followed him shooting King of the Hammers. And I was like, I need to fucking do that. So I was like, you're a really big inspiration of why I'm actually here. Do you mind if we get a selfie? Yes, I fucking said that. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it because I got a selfie with Larry fucking Chen, and that made my day. But back up 2 hours before that, I don't know if you guys know who Brian Deegan is, but he is a motocross rider that I grew up watching compete in the X Games. And just seeing him like in person there, I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Larry Chen and Brian Deegan? And so Brian Deegan's walking past me. Like, I could have reached out and fucking punched him in the chest. He was that close. And he looks at me, and I'm just like, I don't even want to know what my face looked like, because I know there's no way that I could have been hiding my excitement that well. There's no possible way. So he just looks at me, and he gives me like a little SoCal head nod. He's like, hey, man, what's up? And I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything. I kind of blacked out for a little bit. It's so fucking stupid. But at the same time, it's like one of those people that you grow up watching that, I don't know, just had not, I don't want to say it had an impact on your life, but very memorable. Like, I remember what we would record the X Games on VHS and then watch them back like over and over and over and over with one of my childhood best friends, Mike Bowden. Shout out, buddy. But yeah, that was really fucking stoked, man. That's all I can say. But anyway, that day I also got a great picture of Terry Madden, which was awesome. He was getting the Jesse Combs Foundation UTV all set up and ready to go, and he had like a Viking scowl on his face, even though he's not like really a mean person. But he ended up sharing it, and that made me super stoked. Like, because he didn't post a whole lot during that week, but he did repost that picture, which made me fucking happy. And then towards the end of the week, I'll skip ahead just a little bit. Towards the end of the week, he was actually in the media tent getting some food, and I was like, "Don't do it, Angel! Don't do it, Angel! Don't do it, Angel!" And I fucking walk up to him and stick my hand out. I was like, "Nice to meet you in person. I'm the one you shared my photo of you. I just want to say you got a lot of people rooting for you." And I really meant that. I've commented that on his social before, and I just wanted to tell him face to face, that dude's going through some fucking shit. And if you don't know who Terry Madden is, that is the late Jesse Combs' boyfriend. So that man's fucking powering through, and just wanted to let him know from someone that he doesn't fucking know that there are people out there that are rooting for him, and just continue to do the great fucking things he's doing. So Terry Madden, keep doing what you're doing, bud. A lot of people are proud of you and looking forward to what you got coming down the pipe. But anyway, he was like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm so sorry I didn't tag you," and blah blah. I was like, at that point, I was like, "Oh fuck, I shouldn't have said anything," because I didn't want him to think I was one of those photographers like, "Oh, you didn't tag me in the photo." I was like, no. I cut him off. I may have been a little rude. I was like, I don't give a fuck about that. I was like, I literally did not walk up to you to say you didn't tag me in the photo. I don't fucking care about that. I just wanted to express to you my gratitude that you even liked it enough to share it. I don't give a shit if you don't tag me. That's not what this is about. And then I felt like an asshole. But I did it. I can say that I did it. So, I don't know. Part of the experience, I guess. The next thing we got here on the list is checking into the Airbnb. So Phil finally showed up. Jeez. I'm just kidding. I love you, Phil. Finally showed up so we could get checked into the Airbnb. Well, I actually got there before him, so I checked in alone at like 10 or 11. I can't remember. But this Airbnb, it's hard to explain. You'll have to go on YouTube and watch the video. I'm sorry. I do a whole walkthrough of the Airbnb, and it's fucking creepy. So I walk in. It's pitch black in the desert. If you've never been to like the desert when it's dark and it's windy, it is fucking scary, dude. It's fucking scary. I don't care what you say. It's scary. So I'm checking in. I'm trying to flip on the lights. The fucking switches aren't working because all the lights are on those stupid fucking remotes. I'm trying to find the remote. They had all of the remotes stacked in the back furthest room. So I'm walking around with my flashlight trying to find the damn remotes. Anyway, then half the lights didn't fucking even turn on all the way because they were those stupid energy-saving ones that don't even turn on the whole way. It's this weird, like, whorehouse light. It's the worst. But I went to go pull down the shades because there's a ton of windows in this house. Tons of windows. There were no shades, no blinds on any of these windows. Zero. So I'm just sitting there in the house with all the lights on with no blinds. Just sitting there in the kitchen like, okay, this is where I die. Someone is absolutely going to snipe me, or there's going to be an axe murderer that chops through this fucking window right now and hacks me into pieces. And of course, I'm in the middle of the desert, so nobody's going to hear me scream, and that's going to be awesome. So I pretty much had a panic attack for like 5 hours until Phil got in at like 1 a.m. And then we slept for 2 or 3 hours, and then went to, I think it was EMC qualifying, I can't remember. All those days are just running into each other. It's crazy. Let me see here. What else do we have? None of these are chronological, unfortunately, so I'm just trying to give you the highlights. Another person that I got to meet, I'm pretty sure it was after, is doesn't matter when it was. I got to meet Shannon Welch, which, if you don't know who Shannon Welch is, if that name doesn't ring any fucking bells, she was like the media communications race director, like important person for King of the Hammers for I don't even remember how many years, but it was a lot of years. So she's definitely someone that I look up to as someone who is fluent in digital communication. She is an incredible storyteller. She has a page called Hey Shannon, Quick Question. You should go follow that. She hasn't been super active on that recently, but she posts some absolutely incredible stories there. Also, look at her personal Facebook page. I'm not going to say send her friend request because that's weird. Don't do that. Just follow her page so you can read her posts, or the ones that she makes public at least. She's an incredible, incredible storyteller. I look up to her very much. She's been very encouraging to me, which is fucking weird because I have absolutely zero connection to her. I think I sent her a message asking her a question about something, and we ended up talking back and forth on and off for, I don't know, like the past year or something. But I finally got a chance, so this is funny. The first time that I saw her, I knew she was going to be at Hammers, but the first time I saw her, I was walking out of the media tent, I was taking a right, and her and Ian fucking Johnson are standing right next to the Jesse Combs Foundation booth, just chit-chatting and laughing and yucking it up and having a great fucking time. And let me tell you, I have never in my entire life wanted to interrupt two people in conversation more than those two people at that specific time. It took every fiber in my fat, disgusting body not to stop and be like, oh my God, and freak the fuck out. Because Shannon Welch, who I crazy look up to and respect, and Ian fucking Johnson, who I've had multiple conversations with, who I also crazy respect and look up to. And I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And this time I actually didn't do it. But then 3 seconds later, I pulled out my phone and I sent Shannon a message on Facebook. I was like, yo, I just saw you with Ian Johnson. I didn't want to interrupt, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, you should have interrupted. And I was like, okay, next time I see you, I'll definitely interrupt whoever you're talking to. So fast forward a day or two, I see her again. She's talking to someone else. I can't remember who it is. But I was like, duh, and I didn't do it. I didn't interrupt her. So that was the second time. And then the third time, I think it was the night we left or the night before we left. I can't remember. But she was talking to Matt from Driving Line. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, excuse me, I am so sorry. And then it took her a second. And then she's like, oh my God. And she gave me a fucking gnarly hug. Holy shit, that was a good hug. You know when you just like, you hug somebody, you're like, oh, hey, pat, pat. She like fucking, boom, gave me a good hug. That was an awesome hug, Shannon. I really appreciate that if you listen to this. But anyway, I look up to you. Thank you for giving me the time of day. Thank you for being so encouraging. It's really, like, I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing because I like doing it, but getting encouragement from other people really just, adds a little gas to the fire. So I really appreciate that, Shannon, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in your future endeavors. So, and I'm sorry, Matt, for interrupting you and Shannon. I'm sorry. The next thing is I climbed, if you watched the live stream at all, there was the Ford Arch on the short course looking over above the short course. There was a mountain behind it. It's not a huge mountain, but it's a fucking hike, bro. So it's like, if you're standing in Hammertown, you're looking out to the short course. Behind the short course is the Ford Arch. Behind the Ford Arch is the mountain. And then behind that mountain is where Short Bus crosses over. So I know if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. This is just helping me tell my story and keep my head where it needs to be. So I started out, there's a big berm before the very last jump. I was on the opposite side of that berm, trying to take photos of them coming around through the short course. And I was looking, and I was like, you know what? I think I could probably climb up there. So when there was a lull in racing, I think somebody crashed, and they had to shut down the qualifying for a minute. But I ended up climbing up there. And if you go on YouTube again, I know, I'm sorry, redirecting you to YouTube, but if you go to YouTube, you will see the video that I did of where I actually climbed up there, and it was a killer spot. The only thing is, I wish I had a longer lens. I wish I had like a 400 millimeter, would be cool. Um, Even at 8, I think at 8 I could like get a panning shot, full frame of the car with all the fucking detail, but I was working with what I had. I didn't rent any gear this year, which was phenomenal for me. Kind of like a personal achievement, pat on the back. Means I have basically everything I need to bare minimum complete photos and video at King of the Hammers. Obviously, I could upgrade gear, but that's neither here nor there. So that was pretty cool. I actually had people screenshot the live feed. Some of the helicopter shots, you can actually see me standing up above the Ford Arch, which was so fucking cool. Just being up there was amazing. And then for so that was EMC qualifying when I was up behind the Ford Arch by Short Bus. And then for the actual race, I went out to Chocolate Thunder. Now, last year, I primarily shot Chocolate Thunder only because I didn't have a vehicle. That's basically where everyone was going, and I just hitched rides. Phil took me out there a couple times. But this time I wanted to try and shoot it from a different angle since they were going up it this year instead of down it like last year. So I got there super early in the truck. I drove up to the top of it. There's like a bypass on the side. I drove up to the top, and I'm looking, and nothing really stood out to me. I obviously didn't want to shoot the same place I shot last year because they were going in a different direction, and the photos just wouldn't be the same. So I wish I could. Again, I showed this in the YouTube video. If you want to go back and watch the series, I did 7 videos or 8 videos. I can't remember. One for each day. No, I didn't do day 2. Sorry, I forgot. Day 2 was the day I was really fucking hurting, and I didn't film shit. All I did was the stuff I needed to do for PRP and photos. So, climbed up to the top of Chocolate Thunder. I wasn't feeling it. So, once you get to the top of Chocolate Thunder, it like bangs to the right a little bit and then goes up another hill. And that's where they crest over and go down the backside. So, I climbed up to the very top of that. And that was where I did the Top of Chocolate Thunder podcast. So standing up there was one of the most incredible, 30 seconds that I had while I was at this year's King of the Hammers. Just standing on top of that mountain. I couldn't see anyone. No one could see me. The only way that someone knew I was up there is when the helos would fly over. Dude, I don't know what they were doing because they weren't racing. This was pre-race. But just standing up there by myself, carrying my camera gear, and just having the helo go right over me. That was the worst helicopter noise, wasn't it? Just having the helicopter come over and looking down on the Dust Bowl that was Hammertown at the time, it was fucking incredible. It's one of those, when you're in that moment, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna remember this forever. It's an incredible experience. So fucking lucky to even be in a position where I could be there at that moment and just take that in. That's an image that'll be burned in my head until I get dementia and until I later die. So that was probably one of the highlights, probably top 5. Like I said, I did a podcast up there by myself, just walking around, holding the recorder. You can hear my feet crunching around while I'm walking around on the rocks. That was episode 32, if you want to go check that one out. That one's a short one. That one's only 11 minutes. But that was fun to actually be there and be able to do that. So the next thing is 4400 day. What I got tasked. So it was me, Matt, I believe was his name from PRP, Justin from PRP, and Kyle. Sorry, there was somebody driving really slow past my house. And we all were figuring out where we were going to be for 4400 days, since that was the most important. We needed to make sure we got as much coverage of the 81 car, Levi Shirley, as we could, since he's one of their biggest drivers. We needed to make sure we got all the content for him. I got tasked with going out to Cougar Buttes, which I was okay with. I had never been out there. So grateful. So grateful that I was the one that got to go out there, because the light, the rocks, like jaw dropping. Even just being there watching it as a human with my eyes was amazing, but then the photographs, I mean, I'm not a professional photographer. I'm not like a automotive sports photographer, whatever. Even with my janky camera gear, straight out of the camera, no editing, I got some amazing shots. Like, it wasn't anything that I did. Like, a fucking monkey could have taken those photos. It was just a combination of the light, the dust, the way that the course was laid out with them coming through the rocks all fucking flexed out and shit. Oh my god, some of my favorite pictures I've ever taken in my entire like career of taking photos was right there. It was incredible. So check out the 7 Slot Media Instagram if you want to see some of those photos. I also put them up on 7 Slot Media Facebook page if you want to check those out. You don't have to. It's pretty much just race stuff. Nothing strictly Jeep related or whatnot. But Cougar Buttes was absolutely amazing. After the majority, I think after Levi came through, I dipped, because he was the only one that I like needed to be there for. So once Levi came, I dipped. I got back in the truck, and it was probably about a 30-minute drive, 30 maybe 40-minute drive from Cougar Buttes back to Hammertown, because you got to get out on the road, and it's a whole thing, and there are people driving slow. Fucking annoying. But anyway, once I got back to Boone Road, I had my Cartotrax map pulled out. Shout out Cartotrax. Holy shit, that map system saved my life. Well worth whatever I paid for it. I don't even remember. That's how little it was. Whatever it is, I probably would have paid more for it. But Cartotrax, thank you. Really, really appreciate it. Where was I going? Boone Road. Once I got back on Boone Road, I pulled up the map, and I was like, where the fuck am I going to go now? Because Cougar Buttes is only maybe 20, 30 miles into the first lap of the race. So they have hours and hours and hours and hours and hours left to go, and lots more miles. So I was like, you know what? Let me try and go to Jackhammer. I've never been to Jackhammer. The map said it had a nice little spectator route to go. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Started bombing through the desert in my rental Toyota. I mean, I was absolutely driving super slow and taking very good care of it. Those fuckers charged me $50 for a cleaning fee. You motherfucker. I could have taken it through a car wash for $5 if I knew they were going to do me like that. Fucking bullshit. Anyway. So I get out to Jackhammer. I'm trying to scope it out. I'm talking to the course marshals, because Emily, the current media director, was like, if you're going to be somewhere, talk to the course marshals and make sure that you can be where you want to be. So I was talking to a bunch of them. I was like, listen, can I go over here? And like, I told them, I was like, climb up here, shoot down this way, climb over there, shoot down that way. I was like, I would rather you guys yell at me than Emily yell at me, because there were a couple people that had made her quite upset, and I didn't want to be one of those people or get my media vest yanked. That would have made me sad. So they're all like, yeah, you can go over there. They're like, just make sure you're 50 feet. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I climb up to this one spot, and so they're coming down Jackhammer. So they would come down Jackhammer towards me, and then they loop around behind me, and then I was spinning around and then catching them like 100. I was spinning around 180 degrees and then getting them coming straight at me. So, and then they would come at me, and then they would turn left, and then I would be able to get a panning shot of them going across the desert. So I essentially had, from where I was sitting, 3 shots of them coming down Jack, spinning around 180 degrees, having them come around me, then come straight at me, and then turn. So I had 3 different shots. I was like, yo, this is the fucking spot. And the first couple cars came through, and I was like, all right, bet. This is it. This is where I'm going to sit. I went to move just a little bit because, it's amazing. You take 5 steps, and it can completely change the photo. So I took some steps. I went to move, and I saw another media guy, like, down the hill from me. Like, I was almost at the crest of the hill, so I walked up, like, 10 steps, and then I could see him. Turns out that other media person was Blake fucking Saffel himself. And I was like, what the fuck? Blake! And then he moved to where I was. He's like, yo, this is a dope spot. Do you mind if I shoot here? I was like, of course, dude. Of course. Yo, I fuck with Blake heavy, guys. If you don't know Blake Saffel, you need to. 392 Media. Dude puts out some incredible fucking content. I've worked with him in the past, like on an actual job, which fucking blew my mind. Oh, that was one of my highlights for 2019. Yeah. Great fucking dude. Just fucking encouraging. He let me use one of his lenses. What the fuck? He saw me shooting. I had a little dinky 17-50 on my crop sensor Canon 80D, and he's like, because I had my 70-200 on my 60 Mark II, so I could get the long shot. And he's like, hey man, is that working out for you? I was like, oh, it is what it is. I'm making it work. He's like, I have another 72 or a 70-200 in my bag. I was like, oh, sweet, that's cool, because he was using his 100-400. I'm sorry, I'm getting camera nerdy here. So he was using his 100-400 on his red. Yeah, you heard what I said. And he let me use his other 70-200. So it's just if you're watching the video, I'm smiling like a fucking madman, because it was just one of those situations. It's just like, is this fucking happening right now? Like, what's going on? When am I gonna wake up from this? This is fucking wild. So that was great shooting with him. Thank you again. Shout out Blake Saffel. Thank you, dude, for always being encouraging, always looking out for me, passing me the good knowledge. I appreciate it, man. I really do. So shooting on Jackhammer was awesome. Depending on the course next year, and if I'm fortunate enough to go next year, God willing, I will definitely be making a stop out there. Let's see, what else? So I had these grand plans. Beat Not Baby was going to have a party, or not was, did. They did have a party. And I was supposed to go so I could see all my friends. I was not able to go, unfortunately. I had a lot of work to do. A lot. So I was unable to go. But I did see them at the Monster Pavilion thing. I was walking, I think I was done shooting qualifying or something one day. I can't remember. But I was walking past it with all my bags on and my everything. And I'm like, walking fast. And I hear somebody go, Angel! And I fucking, what? How many people out here are named Angel? It was fucking Dakota and Weston and Bennett. And I was like, yo! So we hugged and high-fived and said what's up. And I was like, yeah, I promise I'm going to be at your party. It's so good to see you. Didn't end up going to the party. I apologize, Dakota, Weston, and Bennett. I'm so sorry. Next time. Maybe, or we can just go to Johnson Valley, not on King of the Hammers week, and just like go wheel and have fun and shit. Maybe we can also do that. I don't know. But that kind of wraps up this King of the Hammers personal recap. I know I'm missing stuff. I'll bring it up in other episodes. But those are like the big things that I've had written down for almost a full week now that I wanted to go through. Just kind of give you guys my version of my highlights of King of the Hammers 2020. Again, shout out to my wife who took care of our younglings, our ankle biters, for that entire week. I love you, babe. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for supporting me in what I'm doing. I don't deserve you at all. Thank you again to Cardo Tracks for making maps that don't suck. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great things. Dakota, West, and Bennett, it was good to see you guys oh so briefly. Shannon, Welch, thank you for being you. There's really not much more I can say about that. Terry Madden, keep doing what you're doing, man. Blake Saffel, Thank you just for being encouraging, man. Thank you for being someone that I look up to, someone that I can look up to in this media space. Philip Casper, dude, you fucking rock. Thank you for getting the Airbnb set up. Thank you for taking me under your wing as an Ultra 4 photographer. I appreciate your friendship and your wisdom, dude. Thank you. Aaron Hicks, Jeeps of SoCal. Thank you for being a good friend and listening to me bitch and complain. I did a lot of that. I think it was like a solid 20 minutes of me just complaining about shit, and she was just like, mm-hmm. That's just some good friend shit. So thank you for being a good friend. Um, let's see. I know I'm forgetting stuff. But anyway, that is my King of the Hammers 2020 recap. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Come back for the next episode. Maybe it'll be a little bit better. I don't know what it'll be. We'll see. Bye.